Hey, Peter Vekselman here. So, one of the things I always tell people, or actually not just tell them, I notice, is that many times the reason someone's not successful is not because like certain huge things they're doing wrong. Sometimes it's actually some very little things they're doing wrong. And one of the things that I constantly see, well, two things I see people stumble over. One, their principles. Two, money in this business. And remember, principles. One thing I always talk about is you have to learn to work in the gray areas in this business. For those of us that are doing this business actively, know this is not a black and white kind of business. It's not always yes or no. It's not always, this or that. Many times it's in gray areas. So one of the things you have to learn is you have to learn how to work in those gray areas. The second thing is I see people absolutely shoot themselves in the foot over their inability to understand the concept of money. Here's what I mean by that. Remember, we work in a business where you could make $5,000, $10,000, $50,000, $200,000 in a deal. And so many times I see people stumbling over literally $50 here, $200 here. So let me read an email I just recently received from a gentleman, and you'll understand how this thing about being too hung up on your principles and worrying about the pennies, not about the big money, can absolutely destroy you. So here's what the email says. It starts out by saying that I've been in this industry for 30 plus years. So this is a savvy investor. This is not like a brand new investor. So now he starts telling me about one of his rental properties. I had a major pipe breakage, which really caused a mess. The plumber was out there to fix, and when the plumber was out there, they had discovered mold. The remediation company arrived and notified the tenant they'd have to vacate for about 2 days. So he made arrangements at a hotel to sell it for his tenants. So when the tenants arrived, they were asked to give a $50 cash deposit to the hotel for any kind of damage or incidentals. The tenants at that point turned and walked away. The tenants then later informed me they had neither they really had no money to put up as that deposit. Okay, could happen. It's a rental property. They don't have extra money to put out for hotels. Now, here's the interesting part. In the meantime, they made complaints to every agency in the city stating they refused to do anything to repair the place. So now the tenants are actually going after him. Remember, we're talking about a $50 issue here that could probably make the problem go away at this point. The tenant was willing to get out. The tenants were willing to go to hotel. The tenants just didn't have the $50 to put up. After about 3 weeks, I informed them that they could actually borrow $50 from unpaid rent. So now this guy lets 3 whole weeks for whatever is going on. Obviously, there are the bigger issues in that rental house of his than he had even realized. 3 weeks goes by. Still, these tenants, God knows what they're doing for those 3 weeks. And now he's telling them, hey, I'll let you borrow the $50. So there's another chance right there to fix that problem. The tenants refused to do that. At that point, I guess they're upset out of principle. So now he goes on to say they never paid me any rent at that point. Then an inspector came out to the place, and everyone agreed that this property still needed to be vacated. Later that day, I contacted them to ask them if they were ready to check in a hotel and if they had the deposit ready. He still hung up on this $50 deposit. Then the tenants tell them that really it's your responsibility to pay that $50 deposit. So at that point, the tenants actually moved back into the property, and they refused to let anyone else get inside that property. I filed an eviction, which takes about 6 to 8 weeks to complete. I have spent hundreds of dollars in attorney's fees, which have done me no good at this point. In the meantime, the city is trying to extort money from me. Now, after the tenants are fully aware of the situation, they still refuse to cooperate. I have never felt so helpless in 30 plus years. Pete, do you have any suggestions or comments? So look, working in the gray areas and letting your own principles hang you. Here's a guy that even in this email, 3 to 4 times, he brings up this $50 or a simple $50 deposit could have gotten his tenants into a hotel. Remember, on top of it, it's just a deposit. Whether it's a deposit or not, it doesn't matter. But the bottom line is it is a deposit, which means he probably would have gotten it back once they moved out of the hotel. Every hotel asks either for a credit card or a cash deposit. You see, he's so hung up on his principles that he's not going to pay the $50, and he's so hung up on the $50 itself, instead of worrying what later turns out to be, even in his own words, attorney's fees, I bet he's thousands of dollars into it by now. The city's got him on his radar and all that. So as you work in this business, there's no question you're going to come across circumstances like this. You're going to come across instances where you're going to have to probably pay a little bit more than you wanted to pay. You're going to have to come across deals or circumstances where you're going to have to compromise a little bit on your principles. You have to understand, again, working on those gray areas. It's okay, because the end goal is to close deals. And if it costs you an extra $50, does it really matter to solve a problem? If you compromise on the principle of never fronting money to someone, and all of a sudden you front some money to someone, does that really matter? It really doesn't. So, and again, in this business, as I look at my career, these kind of situations, they really come out all the time. I could tell you just in the last 48 hours, here as I'm sitting here talking, a couple deals we're involved with right now that literally were supposed to close either yesterday or today, and they probably still will close today or yesterday, but unexpected things have come up. Monies that we didn't think we'd have to spend, we're spending. Issues that we didn't think that we don't want to have to handle, we're handling. That's okay. The end goal is to close deals. So don't let you get in the way of you. Be able to compromise. Don't worry about the little money, worry about the big money. I hope that helps. I know you're going to have come across circumstances. If you may be in one of those circumstances right now, be thinking the big picture. Hey, you guys know what we do here. We do a ton of deals, and I have a one-on-one coaching program where I coach people just like you to help become very, very successful real estate investors. So if you're a buyer or you know other buyers literally all over the world that are looking for deals in the Georgia market, specifically concentrated towards Atlanta, you need to be on our buyers list. By now, you'll see my email scrolling across the screen. Send me an email. Just say, add me to the buyers list. And on a daily basis, you're going to get some terrific, both ROI and equity-driven deals emailed right directly to you through email. The other thing, if you're looking to become a successful investor, whether you're brand new, just getting started, or whether you're doing it already and you're looking to be a bigger, more sophisticated, more savvy investor, I know I could help you do that. Again, you could either send me an email to learn more about my one-on-one coaching program, or better yet, right below this video, there's a link right directly to peter.com. You can go straight there and learn more about how I could help you become very successful in this industry.